All right, everybody. Welcome to September 30th, 2025 live stream for It's the Goose, It's the Goose. We have a really fun topic tonight. Tonight is all about The Simpsons. And we're doing it sort of to celebrate the announcement of the new Simpsons movie coming out on July 23rd, 2027. I'm excited for that. I'm a huge Simpsons fan. If you're here, I'm hoping you are too, because we have a lot of Simpsons to talk about, and I want to know your Simpsons knowledge, your Simpsons favorites. We have a lot to get to. So I usually like to wait about 5-10 minutes for people to climb in here. I want to do something a little different this time, though. When you get in, first of all, let me know if you can hear me. I would greatly appreciate it. Second of all, I want to know something from you folks tonight. I want to know, who is your favorite Simpsons side character? Because I'm going to assume if you're a Simpsons fan, Homer's got to be at the top of your list. Bart, maybe. Lisa, even. Marge, Maggie. But I want to know which of the non-core family members is your favorite. And it could be anybody. It could be comic book guy. It could be Bumblebee Man. I don't know who it is, but I'm asking you. Let me know who your favorite character or your favorite side characters, if there's multiple and you can't choose, that are of The Simpsons. I'll go ahead and give you folks mine. I want to go ahead and just read one of the first chats we got today. Simpsons stays on Fox, but not Disney. Michael N's channel. Thank you, Michael N, for showing up. Happy to have you here. You know, there definitely does seem to be a before and after when certain properties go to Disney. Take the Muppets, for example. The Muppets, they've certainly changed in more ways than one coming to Disney. They had their late night show, which definitely was a good idea. I like the concept of Miss Piggy having a TV show. Execution didn't really hit it on the mark. Didn't do it for a lot of Muppets fans, I know. Sort of a more depressing tone for at least the first season. Second season, a lot of people thought it picked up or at least had better realization of that potential. Unfortunately, it didn't stick around too long. Of course, I think most people would say Star Wars is the prime example of shows that went to Disney, movies or properties, franchises that went to Disney that haven't exactly recaptured their former glory. If you folks think of anything that's gone to Disney and has since not captured that same magic that it once had, go ahead and put that below too. Go ahead and comment on that, because I'm curious. Those are the ones I can think of right away. Simpsons, actually, I would say has gotten better, not because it's gone to Disney, but I think they've gotten good writers in. And I haven't watched maybe this last season. I watched the season that had where the first episode was the series finale. That was a hilarious episode. I was cracking up during that one. So there were some good ones in there too. Of course, it hasn't recaptured the first, 8 or 9 seasons, 7 seasons, whatever you want to call the Simpsons glory years. But I don't think anything ever will, to be honest. So I'm not too upset about that. So yeah, like I said, if you folks want to let me know your favorite Simpsons side character, I'll go ahead and read it out. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you folks really quick while you're doing that. I'm going to go ahead and share with you how I got into Simpsons and then my favorite side characters. So I don't remember the very first time I saw The Simpsons, but I do remember when I was younger, I would ride with one of my family members and we'd go to another family member's house, my cousin's house. They were a little bit older than me, and they would be watching The Simpsons. And I remember to that point, I don't remember if I had seen it from them first or what the order was, but I definitely do remember being so excited, hoping, begging my older family members who were driving, please can we go to my cousin's house? Please can we go to their house? Because I wanted to watch The Simpsons so bad. And when we watched The Simpsons, like back then in the early to mid 90s. I know it's said all the time, but that legitimately was must see TV. And you'd get on your local Fox station and you would watch it. And it was, I mean, you have to figure now you can binge watch all the Simpsons ones, all the Simpsons episodes. But man, you have to figure these were coming out brand new episodes every week, and every single one was a killer episode. You're jumping in season 5, season 6, amazing episode after amazing episode. Season 7, amazing episode after amazing episode. So this was just unreal. And you just go in thinking, I guess this is how it's going to be forever. Uh, so that was my earliest memories of The Simpsons. I'm sure I do have more, but that was sort of at least where I started consistently noticing and watching The Simpsons. And like I said, I've been, my cousins did eventually lose interest as they got a little bit older. And I ended up maintaining that love. Like I just said, a minute ago, um, I still watch them. I think this last season is the only one I haven't watched. I've watched every episode though, and I don't know if that's something to say is, that I'm proud of, but it's definitely the truth. Lowell Lucas Jr. Hey, long time no talk. Hey everyone and Simpsons fans alike. Lowell Lucas Jr. How are you? It is great to see you. Still watch them every Sunday and love watching Treehouse of Horror. Treehouse of Horrors are great. There's definitely some good ones. Anytime with Kodos and Kang is a great time. Hello, Lucas Jr. I was asking the chat, who is your favorite, or if you can't pick one, who are your favorite Simpsons side characters? Like, aside from the main family, who are the ones that you love most? Because I'm going to get to that right now. So my favorite character, I would say it's probably, I have a soft spot for Bart. Being a young kid, I grew up loving the pranks. I grew up loving the attitude, the defiance. A little kid cursing at his dad or whoever. It was just so funny. He was so cool and so edgy to me. I loved Homer. Of course, as I got older, his buffoonery, his wackiness, and some of the, it's kind of like it almost seems to happen with every show, like every animated show. They always focus on the kids and they end up gradually moving to the dad. I mean, you saw it with Simpsons, you see it with South Park, and they kind of went the opposite way with Family Guy. They started with the dad and now they're with Stewie. Um, but yeah, so Bart and Homer were my favorite main characters. Lowell Lucas Jr. Favorite Simpsons side character? Sideshow Bob and Krusty the Clown. You can't go wrong with Krusty the Clown. But what about Mel? What about Sideshow? No, not Sideshow Mel. Sorry. Oh my goodness. What is the name of Sideshow Bob's brother? You can't even think. It wasn't Mel, because I know Mel is the blue-haired thespian sidekick. Man, I'm gonna leave that to you folks because I'm curious. That's your first bit of Simpsons trivia. Ian Hamblin, Fallout Boy. Oh yeah, I love the part when Bart goes into audition. So Fallout Boy is in the radioactive. Well, he's the character. He's Radioactive Man's sidekick. Trust me, I know some Simpsons. Of course, I can't name the one sidekick now. The first thing that I asked, but Fallout Boy is great. He's Radioactive Man's sidekick, and I love the part where Bart goes into audition for the part of Fallout Boy in the Radioactive Man movie, and he jumps in and he points and he goes, "Look out, Radioactive Man!" And the guy goes, "Again, look out, Radioactive Man!" And he goes, "I think we found our Fallout Boy. If we didn't already find him before," and it's Milhouse. Love that. So good. I want my slaw. Hey Goose, sorry I'm late. Didn't know you were doing a live. I'm sorry, I want my slaw. Good to have you here. This kind of came last minute, just from the news of the Simpsons 2 movie coming out. So I said I haven't done a live in a while. I really want to start doing lives again with more fun topics. And I have stuff planned for the channel, which hopefully will include more lives and more stuff with you folks. But it's great to have you here. Great. I feel like I haven't seen you folks in a while, so it's really nice to see you again. Ian Hamblin. Hamblin. Cecil, yes, that's right, Cecil. Great character, underrated character. I like Cecil. He's funny. I like that whole Frasier connection. He was good. Lowell Lucas Jr. Both have hilarious deliveries. Also, Cecil is Bob's brother, also from Frasier. That's right. Thank you. Joey Baseball. I saw the first Simpsons movie in the theaters back in 2007. That's right. And if you're watching something in theaters that you could watch for free at home, you're a loser. That's what I'll always stick with. The brother is Cecil Terwilliger. Terwilliger? I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. Troy McClure. I love Troy McClure. Good evening, everyone. I'm Troy McClure. Yeah, I love it. You may know me from such shows as, blah, blah, blah. I love him. Love him. Phil Hartman, amazing. We're going to be talking about Phil Hartman today, too. Lowell Lucas Jr. Did you know the Simpsons movie is announced for 7/23/27? Thank Lydia's timelines for the info. Who Lydia's timelines? Is that the Simpsons theory person? That's the only person I would know that the only person I would know that does any kind of Simpsons content. I haven't. Yeah, that's the only person I would know. Ian Hamblin, how old were you when you first watched the Simpsons movie? Oh man, I don't remember. I did see it in theaters. Yeah, I remember seeing it in theaters. I can't remember who I was with though. I must have gone with somebody. I couldn't have gone alone. I wouldn't be surprised, but I couldn't have gone alone. Uh, Buddy Boy 600 Alt Mick Jagger. All right, that is a great episode, and we're gonna get some more of that. I want to touch on that after because I'm gonna ask more questions like this. Mick Jagger, excellent choice, excellent episode. Simpsons has celebrities, absolutely right. Absolutely right. I want my slaw. I don't like how people have been trashing Julie Kavner for her Marge voice. She's 75 years old. They aren't kids anymore. There's that clip that always goes around of Marge going la la la, like singing down the stairs. I don't think that's her actually doing she's trying her hardest and that's what came out. I'm pretty sure the context of that scene is she's supposed to be annoying to Homer or something. So she laid it on thick. So, context is everything, but people like to take just one thing and take one thing and run with it. I'll get to read more chats, but I do want to move on a little bit. I do want to say my favorite Simpsons side character, you guys gave some great ones, but my favorite one has to be, it's going to be an unexpected modern character from recent times. And I say modern, but it's from actually 2009, which is kind of sad to say. I don't know if that's so much modern as it is old. You can do that thing where, did you know it's closer to, 2050 than it is 2000? Which, one of those things, which actually it's the same distance, which is now making me really sad. But my favorite Simpsons side character is from the season 20 episode, The Good, the Bad, and the Drugly. They're a recurring character now. That's right, folks. It is Shauna Chalmers. All right. Who here knows Shauna Chalmers? You know what? I'll buy you a squishy if you can tell me her catchphrase. And her catchphrase is a really dumb catchphrase, but I love it. So if anybody can name the catchphrase, I'll be super impressed. But for those of you who don't know, Shauna Chalmers is Superintendent Chalmers' daughter, and she's a dry personality, teenage troublemaker. If anybody can name the catchphrase, I'll be impressed. If not, I'll go ahead and say it in a couple minutes. But she's a total degenerate, and she's willing to lie, cheat, or steal to get what she wants. Sometimes the girlfriend of Jimbo, but she's a good person. She does actually care for Bart and Lisa when she's around them, even though she's, quick to drop them whenever things can go for her way or benefit them. And she babysits the kids for Marge. She's really cool. I love her as a kid. She's my favorite. She always gets really good episodes around her. She actually has gotten a couple episodes with her as a central character or a major character. And I kind of wish she had been introduced in the older episodes, because I think they'd probably have an amazing episode with her in a legendary role, like how we talk about Bart's girlfriend. I think her name was Jessica. That was the girl that Jimbo was making out with, and he says that his shirt is chafing, so he takes it off. I'm sure she would have been something in that role, and it would have been an amazing episode. But at the same time, I bet you that she would have been a one-time character, never seen again. So I'm glad she is part of the modern canon, modern lore. She's definitely my favorite side character. I could just watch a show about her if I'm being completely honest. My honorable mentions. I have two honorable mentions. So one of them is a one-time character. If you've watched my shorts ever, then you will know this character is one of my favorites. Give it up for Handsome Pete. So Handsome Pete is one of the early characters. He's a This is the episode where Krusty fakes his own death. Sorry, spoilers if you haven't seen it. But this is the episode where Krusty fakes his own death and he goes into hiding. And so Bart and Lisa are looking for him because they're suspicious if he's alive, if he's dead. And they go into oh my gosh, why can I not even think? The sea captain. They go into the sea captain's store and they blow up a balloon and they ask if they've seen Krusty, and it's got a picture of Krusty, and he says, "Oh yeah, Handsome Pete." And so Handsome Pete comes in, and all he does, his whole character, he doesn't speak, he just plays the accordion and dances, and he does it for nickels, according to the sea captain. And he doesn't do anything else. He doesn't ever say anything. And as they're leaving, Bart throws him a quarter and he starts dancing, and it exacerbates the sea captain. And he goes, "Oh, now he's going to be doing this all day." I love Handsome Pete. If you guys remember Handsome Pete or something, I love him. I love Handsome Pete. He's so funny. It's kind of weird sometimes, the characters that are the one offs that, like, you'll have like Hank Scorpio make a reappearance or a cameo, but you have these characters who are sort of, you know, meme worthy or kind of legendary, and they never appear again, not even in backgrounds or anything. So Handsome Pete, let's make a comeback. The second character that I think is awesome is he's gotten a little bit of screen time, but he's never gotten a full episode dedicated to him, which surprises me because I think he's sort of this cool mythic figure. But you have comic book guy who's got episodes about him getting the store shut down, getting married, having a kid, and that's fine. But you got to give some room for some other characters. Like, we've even gotten a little more of Bumblebee Man in this character. My other favorite character is side character Disco Stew. I mean, come on. Disco Stew's been the butt of so many great gags and jokes. Um, he's been and I love the one. I can't remember the episode it is. I want to say maybe it's the '90s episode where he's the photographer and he plays music, and he's like, oh man, like he has long hair or something, or he lets his hair down and he decides he loves disco, or when he has the aquarium shoes and the fish are dead in it. What was Disco Stew like? How is he not the star of at least one episode? And I like too when, because sometimes they act like he's a loser, but then other times they'll be like, oh, look who's here. Oh my goodness, it's Disco Stew. I love that. Sometimes he's cool, sometimes he's not. But to me, Disco Stew is always cool. So come on, let's give a little more love to Disco Stew, Simpsons guys. It's almost been 40 years. We can write one episode around him. And let's go ahead and check up with you folks in the chat. Man, you folks are really typing it out. I like this. All right, we'll go ahead and I can't read them all. If you want me to for sure read yours, leave a super chat, a buck or something or whatever, you folks. It helps. It helps, and I appreciate it. But if not, I'm going to try and get through as many as I can, because like I said, we're just going to try to keep this to an hour, and we have a lot to get to, which I'm super excited about. Let's see here. We're going to start with Ian Hamblin. Alice's Adventures Through the Windshield, and Alice Doesn't Live Anymore. Yep, good reference. Loa Lucas Jr. Yes, Simpsons Theory YouTuber. Also, Duffman. Duffman is stroking to the problem. I love Duffman. Yeah, he's great. He's great. Joey Baseball. The cast of The Simpsons made crazy money per episode, almost $1 million per episode just for their voices. That's right. And, The Simpsons predicted it years ago with replacing voice actors. And nobody will know the diddly difference. Let's see here. Let's get to another one. Joy Baseball. She thinks they're all for funerific. Ian Hamblin. I'm Shauna. Yep, that's right. That's all she does. I'm Shauna. Yeah, I love her. She's so funny. Loa Lucas Jr., Shauna Chalmers, also Jimbo's girlfriend. Sometimes she made out with Bart, but also as a big sis is a big sister to Lisa. Even Marge has her as a personal babysitter. Absolutely right. Nice to know that we watch the same episodes. The Treasure of I'm a Wiener. What episode came out the closest to the day you were born? Ooh, I don't know. That's a great question. That's kind of like that question people ask, like, what was the number one song the day you were born? That's an interesting one. You know what? If you folks look that up, I'm not looking up right now only because I don't want to exit out the screen and I have stuff I do want to get to. Great question though. The Treehouse of I'm a Wiener. I'm a Wiener. Is there an I'm a Wiener here? Please, I'm a Wiener. All right, great one. I like the name. Uh, Loa Lucas Jr. None of you are getting nothing from Shauna. Yep, that's like the very first line when Jim was like, "Come on, I got to do it for my girl." Yep, I love that. That's a really inside baseball detail. Good job. You mean Jeff Albertson? That's right, comic book guy. Disco Stew, right again. Lowell Lucas Jr., that's Handsome Pete. He plays for Nichols by the docks. Oh, dang, you paid him a quarter. Now he'll play for hours. Man, you have some good knowledge, or I'm just, you're just typing out what I say, but either way. Um, Joey Baseball, she thinks they're all horrific to Miss Carol's catchphrase from Rugrats. Miss Carol. I don't remember Miss Carol. Might have to brush up on my Rugrats. But so with the two side characters out of the way, I want to ask you guys, what are your favorite episodes? So I know that you guys were saying a couple of them, but I want to know what your favorite specific episodes are. And it doesn't have to be your absolute favorite, because I know it's kind of hard to ask name your favorite, but maybe one of your favorite, because man, there are some great ones. I'll tell you one of them. Probably the latest episode that I really liked because it was so silly and so ridiculous. Well, I'll get to that one at the end. But let's see here. Okay, so my one of my first favorite episodes. I had to go through season to season to find my favorites, but these ones are just off the top of my head that I know that I love. Um, Season 2, episode 19, Lisa's Substitute, which is when Lisa's teacher, Miss Hoover, is on leave. So, substitute teacher Mr. Bergstrom, played by Dustin Hoffman, takes an interest in Lisa, and he fosters an environment to make her feel good about herself and her intelligence as a young person. Man, there is so much here as far as not only Lisa's plot, but the subplots that go on. So, Lisa's struggling because she doesn't feel like she fits in. And, you know, Mr. Bergstrom comes and he's a great teacher and he's very supportive of Lisa. And not only that, not only her like not developing a crush, but sort of a mental, intellectual crush, like somebody finally who can recognize me for who I am. That's a really great one. Homer feeling inadequate and worried that she has a new male role model. Bart running against Martin for class president and Martin losing it. And then I think it was that episode where at the end Bart campaigns and he's a shoe in to win, but he forgets to get people to vote, and so he ends up losing. I mean, this episode, and of course the ending, that wonderful, wonderful ending where he says, you know, the only thing you'll need to see is written in this note, and it says, "You are Lisa Simpson." I mean, how can this not be one of the best Simpsons episodes ever? It truly is. It really is one of the best ones. Second favorite, or not second favorite, second in my batch of, by the way, that kid on the right, I love one of the things I really do miss about old Simpsons though compared to new Simpsons. You look at any group shot, especially in new Simpsons and maybe from the last 5, 10 years, maybe not the last couple years, but definitely within the last decade, everybody in town is somebody from the cast. So you'll never have a group shot where it's just random characters, which I miss the random characters because they always look so weird. Like, look at this kid to the right, his small eye and his squinted eye and his his bubblegum jaw. You know, I know they're chewing, but his little weird bowl cut hair. You know, you have Ralph, and then look to the far left, like this girl in the beret. Who were these kids? I miss that about Simpsons. You would have random people walking around. Um, you don't really get that anymore. I feel like they have such a big cast that they feel that they have to use everybody, but then you kind of lose that specialness and you know who might be the next star that picked out from the crowd, this one-time character. So I do kind of miss that. One of my other favorite episodes is, that's right, Bart gets an F. So, as a young person who didn't like school and never got good grades, this episode hits home to me. So, Bart needs to study for a test or he's going to be held back a year in school. And there's no episode that I identify more closely with than this one. Like doing everything you can to study in hopes of passing a test or passing a class or passing anything. But the more you do, there's just this feeling of inevitability that you're going to fail. And then when you finally get to the test, all that information just disappears from your brain. Like I said, it's the most personal episode to me. And I really miss when The Simpsons was able to do these things. Like they really could nail these topics, which, now if Homer isn't doing some crazy job, it's not a Simpsons episode. But back then, you could really build 30 minutes on the simplest of plots. Bart's going to get held back, so he needs to study. There was a B plot, but you could really just go off this one premise. And man, that and Lisa's Substitute, they were so special. Like, I love those episodes. So amazing. Let's take a look at the chat really quick, see which ones you folks love. Let's see here. Lowell Lucas Jr., you'll laugh. Simpsons came out when I was 5, so it'll be something to see them turn 40. I know, isn't it weird to think of properties like that are younger than you, properties that you grew up with, properties that are older than you, and they're just going to be around past you? It'll be like, AI Simpsons, because all the actors will be gone. You'll be 90, you'll be watching the newest episode, of whatever. It's just so, it's very, your mortality when you see things are going to exist past you. It's kind of a weird feeling. Ian Hamblin, Dog Death or Marge Be Not Proud. Oh, Dog of Death, excuse me. Yeah, Marge Be Not Proud. Man, that was a great one where Bart steals Bone Storm from the store. That was a really great one. And he's just racked by guilt. I mean, we're going off simple premises where obviously it's, Bone Storm, he steals it. That's the funny part, all the gags. But really, he just feels guilty. He's in trouble and he's afraid his mom's going to find out. I mean, I don't know if it's because it was a simpler time where, you didn't have this technology, you didn't have sort of this disconnect from everything and everyone. But man, these episodes they just really take you back to a time where I don't know if people would understand now. I really don't know if people would understand something like that. I mean, everybody has these inherent human morals and values and feelings and emotions, but would they be able to understand why you get this feeling because of how old it is? It's an interesting question. Loa Lucas Jr., let's take a look. Favorite Bart and Lisa on the ice. It's season 6 episode that had way too many gags, from Marge holding onto Milhouse's teeth to the sudden ride at the end. Yep, when Bart and Lisa, they are competing in hockey. I told you, I'm not bad at this. I know my Simpsons a little bit. Maybe the later seasons, or maybe not the most famous episodes. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I do know somewhat. Yeah, Bart and Lisa competing hockey teams, and I love when Marge says, "We love you both the same, you're not going to compete," and then Homer comes in, "Your teams are playing each other, fight for our love," and then he turns the lights on and off. I love that one. Ian Hamblin, what do you think about Homer's Enemy starring Frank Grimes? Ooh, controversial episode. That's what everybody says, right? Controversial episode where Homer makes an enemy, Frank Grimes, this guy who struggled his whole life, and he can't get ahead. He just sees Homer basically falling up in life and at work. He goes to this house. "You live in a mansion. Oh, you went to space? Oh yes, you've never been." So personally, what I think about Homer's Enemy, I love it. I think it's a great episode. I understand people might not like the darker aspect of it. It really is like a dark comedy of an episode. I don't think it's dark as in a bad way. I think it's dark just that's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to see that life isn't fair for some people, and that it takes a toll, and that no matter how hard you work, The humor is that you'll never get ahead and other people will pass you by. So I love the episode, and I think the ending is really funny. The only reason I don't like that he passed away was because I just would like to see more Frank Grimes. But what do you folks think of Frank Grimes Jr. in the episode where I want to say I don't know if Homer becomes a tow truck driver. No, I don't think he becomes a tow truck driver. Sorry, I'm gonna take a sip real quick. But anyway, Homer becomes a anyway, Frank Grimes Jr. Uh, he tries to kill Homer, and Homer asks when he sees him, he goes, "Oh, how is Grimy? He's dead." Um, and then he goes, "Wait a minute, Frank Grimes never had a wife." And he goes, and his son goes, "Yeah, well, he liked prostitutes or something along those lines," which so great, such a great one. Let's take a look at some more here. Bart Gets an F is one of the best. I agree, Ian Hamblin, and not just because it's one of my favorites. Poor Grimy, Lowell Lucas Jr. I agree. Joey Baseball, they are called animated extras when you have a random character that is only ever seen once. But it's so frustrating because some of the best characters are animated extras, or they just pop up in random scenes again. And I know I just like them. I just think they look cool. Like one of the episodes I was watching recently, it was a clip from I think Homer goes to oh man, what's that concert? It's not Woodstock. It's the episode with the Smashing Pumpkins in Cypress Hill. What is that episode? I'm blanking on the episode, but Homer is in the crowd and all these 90s kids are swaying and he puts on the Rasta beanie and he has I want to say it's like keep on trucking or it's a smiley face pin on his hat. And there's all these like random weird looking characters, like they have nose rings, they have dreadlocks, they have shaved heads, and they look so cool, but we've never seen them again. And they were sort of more realistic, which I like. I like the cartoony ones you get in the older seasons, but I also do like those more realistic characters too. I wish we would have more animated extras because they're really interesting. They're really cool to look at. Um, let's see here. Lowell Lucas Jr. Looks like you enjoy a lot of season 2 episodes, my dude. What do you think of Doing the Bartman? I didn't think of any seasons in particular I like. I think those are just two. I would have to go over the episode list, but Do the Bartman, I don't know if you are referring specifically to, um, if you're referring specifically to the music video Do the Bartman, or if you're referring to well, I guess that would be the one. Do the Bartman. I love that song. I actually have that on in my little music library that I listen to sometimes. I love it. And if you could do the Bart, you're bad like Michael Jackson. That's a great one though. Love the video. Complete animation. Hey, how you doing? I think this is one of the first times I've seen you here. I think maybe you've been here once or twice before, but it's good to see you. I think I've seen one full episode of The Simpsons in my life. Seen a few clips a few times. What? How can you call yourself complete animation when you've completely missed one of, if not the most famous animated shows in history? Explain that. Are you not interested? I'm just curious. I'm just curious as to what it is. Um, I want my slot. I don't want AI TV shows. That's why I still collect DVDs. You know, who was it? Was it Fox or Sony or somebody where their DVDs were rotting? I mean, you can't even collect DVDs anymore. You can't. That's the sad thing. Like, you can preserve digital or physical media as much as you want. I guess physical media, sorry, as much as you want. But man, like, even when you play VHS tapes, every time you play them, the quality gets worse. It's kind of sad. It's kind of a sad thing to think. So, I wonder if there ever will be a very permanent. I know kind of digital space is quote unquote permanent, but I wonder if there ever will be an actual permanent form of media that we can have forever. Let's see. Joey Baseball. Nothing beats watching old Simpsons on a CRT TV. It just looks awful on a newer TV or on streaming. Yeah, I miss that. I think there's something too just about growing up with it where it just felt right. It just feels right to watch it on sort of a rounded TV screen. And hey, times change, like the colors have changed and the animations change. I like how the animation is actually getting a little more back to that sort of more rubbery Simpsons as opposed to the last decade or so when it was a little more stringent, a little more rigid. But I really like the way they're going with the new stuff. So
Let's see here. Lowell Lucas Jr. I laughed at Frank Grimes Jr. only because Sideshow Bob caught him. Yeah, that's a good point. That is a funny point. Homer was at Hullapalooza rock concert. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. That's what it was. I'm referring to the song, not the Bart superhero. Yeah, I did a short on that too. You know, isn't that weird that Bartman, the superhero, where he was seen in 3 Men in a Comic Book, um, he's only ever appeared in canon that one time. That was wild to me because I remember Bartman in comics. I remember Bartman on T-shirts. I remember Bartman merchandise everywhere, action figures. But he's only been in that one episode for not even a third of it. He's just when he goes to the comic book convention. So that was wild to me. But yeah, Do the Bartman, great song. I really do like that song actually. Um, and I would say I want to ask you folks now. So we were sort of talking about characters, and I want to know who your favorite guest stars are, because that's a huge part of The Simpsons. That's a huge part of what made The Simpsons so famous back in the day. And it's maybe not the biggest thing now, but it's still it's still a cool novelty to have once in a while. But yeah, those old ones. And so I'm gonna put a limit on it though. I'm gonna say for guest stars, at least for me, if you want to say these people, go ahead. I'm gonna say for guest stars, I'm not gonna be counting people like Phil Hartman or John Lovitz because while they aren't main cast members, I feel like they're regular enough. Phil Hartman had the most guest star appearances at 52 over the course of The Simpsons. So he's a side character, but to me, he may as well be part of the main cast. And I'm not going to be counting, like I said, John Lovitz, certain people. I'm just going to go off major celebrity guest stars. And the only other rule I'm going to have is that the actor can either be playing themselves, like how James Wood played himself, or they can be a totally made up character. So, with that, I'm going to go off just a couple of my favorites. I'm sure I'm going to be missing some, but these are just a few of my favorites. So, one of my first ones, in no particular order, Lurleen Lumpkin, played by Beverly D'Angelo, the country star who makes it big with Homer's management. Oh my gosh, I love her. That episode, I don't know if it's one of the best, maybe not, but man, it is. Oh, it might be one of the best. It's definitely got to be in maybe the top 50, which, I mean, there's 400 episodes now. I'd have to say top 50 is pretty darn good. Um, Lurleen Lumpkin is amazing. She's this country singer who just can't catch a break until Homer decides to manage her. Then her career gets on track. But once it does, she starts to fall in love with Homer, and Marge gets violently jealous. Um, and I love everything about it. I love the songs, which I guess Beverly D'Angelo wrote. Um, the songs are great, and I just feel kind of bad because she's reappeared in further episodes, but every time they make her marry or date a guy who looks like Homer because she can't get over him, which is okay, but they always take her money. She's a loser. Like she's basically she's basically just living a terrible life. People taking advantage of her. She's destitute. I think at one time she's living in a ditch or something, from what I remember. And it's just so sad to see a character that had such a promising start. And again, I don't think they butchered the character. They just took her in a direction that made me kind of sad. So I don't know. I love Lurleen Lumpkin. Definitely one of my favorite celebrity guest characters. Beverly D'Angelo, always a great job with her. The second one might be considered controversial, but if you're a Simpsons fan, I'll understand if you do find it controversial. But man, I mean, who is a more important guest star for The Simpsons than Michael Jackson, who plays Leon Kapowski, the man who sounds and claims he sounds exactly like Michael Jackson, even though he's a enormous mental patient. At Homer, he accidentally wears a pink shirt to work, and that's deemed as insane. So they send him to the asylum, and he meets this guy who claims to be Michael Jackson, sounds like him, dances like him, visually isn't Michael Jackson, but he says he is. And I think that one of the things that a lot of people may still not know is Michael Jackson didn't do the singing parts. So his record contract limited him from being able to sing basically with anyone else except for him or except for them. And so he actually hand selected a sound alike. And that person ended up revoicing or re-singing the Leon Kapowski character in one of the future episodes a couple years ago. I'm saying a couple, probably like 5 or 7 years ago now. Um, so yeah, that's something that a lot of people don't know. But Michael Jackson's performance here is awesome. The character is great. The story's really interesting because Michael Jackson doesn't come in until about halfway through, and it's kind of like there's a really great scene which doesn't ever get a lot of credit, but you know they don't do this with Homer anymore. I mean, you never see it in The Simpsons anymore, but there's a scene where Homer's in the asylum and he tells Michael Jackson, "I'm scared," and Michael Jackson sings him to sleep. But just Homer whimpering at being scared, man, I really miss when they were able to do that. And the last one, we're gonna go with a more modern one. We're gonna go with Ray Mangini, played by Ray Romano from one of the later seasons. So this one is an episode where I don't even know what they were thinking when they came up with this episode. Basically, Homer meets this guy at a hardware store, Ray Mangini, played by Ray Romano, and and he ends up trying to get Ray to fix his roof. He's a roofer. And he waits for him, and nobody sees Ray ever, so they start thinking that Homer's gone crazy, and what a weird thing. Both my celebrity ones are episodes where Homer thinks he's going crazy. And it turns out that Ray is real. The reason that nobody could see him was he was always out of view. So when Flanders couldn't see him, he was standing behind a chimney. When other people were looking at him, the best part though is at the end, Bart is looking directly at Homer. Ray is in between them, but Bart still can't see him. Stephen Hawking comes in and explains that the light perspective and the way Bart's standing created a rift in time and wormholes, and so it made Ray invisible. And Lisa is like, I guess so. It's so funny. I just love this episode. It's a really great example of a modern episode. And of course, they think that Ray Mangini, it's an anagram. Lisa thinks, oh, it's an anagram for imaginary, which it is. But what a silly episode. A really good one. Let's go ahead and read some chats here. So, Ian Hamblin, Phil is the best. Right on. I completely agree. Phil is the best. Loa Lucas Jr., still hold on to your physical media. They gave extras and other material that might be lost media, like the Butterfinger commercials or the 1-800 collect ads. That's true. That is definitely true. And I love all those ones. Those are so great. Nobody better lay a finger on my Butterfinger. Yeah, those classic Simpsons commercials and the Butterfinger BBs. I want my slaw. I'm here, Goose. I'm listening, but I'm doing a little work while I listen. Well, I hope I'm not distracting you too much, but thank you for listening, and I hope your work is going well. Loa Lucas Jr., Mindy, played by Michelle Pfeiffer. I still have a crush on her to this day, and I love Lurleen. She deserves the best. I love her too. Oh yeah, Mindy. I like Homer singing, "Everyone knows it's Mindy." Yeah. Yeah, Mindy's a great character. Let's do it. Let's order room service. Love her. I'm cheating, but the entire baseball team for Mr. Burns to win that in season 3. Just Daryl Strawberry and Homer's exchange had me dying. Love it. Great episode. Another classic episode. Joey Baseball. That's another reason why you need DVDs, because they completely took off the Michael Jackson episode from streaming. That I agree 100%. And I still do want to do a video about sort of, I don't want to say controversy, but I do want to say about you know how Whoopi Goldberg, she does the forewords, the introductions, like, hey, even though, we don't condone this, this is how things were joked about, or this is how things were presented, or things were done in older cartoons. So go in knowing that, this is just the way it was. We want to present it, even though it's something that, we don't do as a society anymore. Thankfully, we want to present it how it was. So here it is. Like, that's a really responsible way to do it. I do want to do a video on something like that going forward, but we'll see when I get to that. Great point though. Great point because yeah, the episodes that they pull off and you never know if they'll come back. I do not. Yeah, we'll do a video on that. Thank you for the reminder. Um, Lowell Lucas Jr. Let's not forget my main man, John Lovitz. I love John Lovitz. I'm a big John Lovitz fan outside of The Simpsons. So not only is Jay Sherman from The Critic, but Artie Ziff, Marge's acting director, and more. Well, I love Artie Ziff. There was a line that he had when he he redoes the prom with Marge, and Homer is looking. I want to say Artie Ziff kisses Marge against her will, and Homer sees it from a window. And one of my favorite lines that I always quote. He goes, "Oh no, uh, if Marge and Artie get married, I'll never be born." I love that line. Such a great line. Yep, you're right, Joey. Michael Jackson is still on season 3, and the commentary for the episode was awesome. Oh man, I got to hear that commentary. That's awesome. That is great. Um, okay, so I wanted to do this now. So we kind of got through some stuff, and thank you, folks, for all the really great suggestions. I would love to hear more if you guys want to chime in too. But I want to know how you all feel about the Simpsons second movie coming out. So we just heard yesterday that it's going to be coming out July 23rd, 2027. We got this teaser poster. And what did you folks think of the first movie? Um, I'll tell you what I think. I think it's good. I think it's fun. I think it's fair. I think it's fine. It obviously doesn't recapture that classic Simpsons, which I can't expect it to. I think it's unfair to compare any Simpsons to those classics because, it's a different writing team. If anything, compare seasons for, just against themselves, I guess I should say. Um, but for the movie, I think it was probably about 15 years too late. Probably about 10. I can't remember. 2007. So about 10 years too late. And, the original Simpsons movie was supposed to be about them going to, I want to say Camp Krusty, and then it got changed. They wanted it to be at Itchy and Scratchy Land, which ended up being an episode. But I like the Simpsons movie. It's not bad. There's some really good stuff in there. I still laugh and I still watch the scenes of Homer and Bart on the roof at the beginning and end of the movie. Um, it's surprising how iconic Bart's skateboard ride is all these years later. But the best part of the movie for me, is man, sometimes Simpsons can really recapture those Simpsons moments, and this was one of the best ones when Marge leaves Homer and she tapes over their wedding tape, and then he sees them dancing and he cries and he goes outside. And I mean, I liked when he fell on the ice and it broke into a heart, but sometimes you just gotta play it straight. You just gotta play it for what it is, something really sad. Like you can't. It's a good visual gag, but I feel like it's almost kind of greedy in a sense. Um, but yeah, so I did like the movie. Oh, I like too when Homer is mushing the dogs and he goes mush mush and he goes rest rest and he's whipping them the whole time even when they're resting, and he undoes them and he goes, well, this I hope we can all get along after a long day, and they tear him apart. I love that. Um, but yeah, I'm excited for a Simpsons movie. Here's what I'm worried about though. Well, I think the writing team. I'm curious to see who's going to be writing it. I don't know how much. I'm sure Matt Groening will have a lot of involvement as usual, but I wonder if it's going to be like, this is going to come out around the Simpsons 40th season. So I'm wondering, is this going to be the end? Is this going to be like coming out at the end of? Is this going to be coming out at the end of the Simpsons final season, the 40th season? It's going to be the ultimate episode. Is it going to be just another movie and that's it? And they're going to keep going on, but I mean, I know they recently said they're going to go until one of the major cast members dies, but you know, a second movie might be the place to end it. I don't know. How do you folks feel about that? That's a big deal. 40 seasons, a second movie. I mean, what more could you do after that? I would love to see The Simpsons. I think they're picking up in quality, especially lately. But I don't know. I mean, would you rather have it end at 40 seasons and two movies and you just have a nice round number? Or what if somebody passes away and it's halfway through season 43? Feels kind of empty, right? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I want more Simpsons just in a greedy way, but for historical sake, I wouldn't mind it ending there. Let's see what you folks think about it. Joey Baseball. Um, I really liked the first movie. I thought it was really cinematic for a Simpsons movie. I remember really enjoying it in the theaters. I remember Green Day was in the movie. That's right. Yeah, that was a good scene. And I like too when they're on the way to Alaska and they see the wanted poster and Bart draws on it and he goes, "Oh my gosh, there they are." And it's the family who looks exactly like the wanted poster. Well, that's a great scene. Um, let's see here. Lowell Lucas Jr. I'm pumped. Shockingly, it'll be 20 years old since the first movie. Also, I love the first movie because it did get a lot of the original writers back. Yeah, and there was a lot of good gags, a lot of good stuff in there that I really appreciated. Um, I still remember Tom Hanks, Joey Baseball says at the end of the Simpsons movie, "If you see me in real life, don't bother me." Yep, that's a good one. Lowell Lucas Jr. I still joke with Homer saying, "Oh, real mature. How could you say that?" Yep. Yeah, I mean, the Simpsons movie does have a lot of great stuff. But here's the one thing I don't want. I was trying to think of what do I want from a Simpsons movie? What do I not want from a Simpsons movie? I'll tell you what I don't want. Like we were kind of talking about season 2, season 3, early seasons. I wish they could go back to a more grounded sort of plot, something a little more local. I don't know that they'll be able to do that for a movie because I can't stand when critics say this is one of two criticisms you always hear when there's an animated movie that goes to a full length feature film. Either it just felt like a long episode of the show. Okay, well, what do you want them to do? It's a cartoon, it's a 30-minute show, and you're trying to stretch it out to an hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't think that's a bad thing. I get that it feels small, maybe, in the grand scope of things because you're trying to bring it to a movie, but it's kind of like it's a TV show. So there's that. Or they say, "Oh, it tried to be too big. It tried to be too big. They should have just kept it more like the show." Well, what do you want? You have to pick one or the other. I mean, unless there's that rare perfect middle ground that not a lot of these movies achieve, it's got to be one or the other. It's got to be cinematic, or it has to be a longer version of like a longer episode of the show. And I get that there's, well, a longer episode means that you have more of this, or like you stretch it out, but you have to do it by, story structure. Okay, fine. I'll concede to that. But what do you folks want to see? I'll tell you what I don't want to see. Specifically, I was trying to think of what I do want to see. I would like to see something a little more grounded. But what I don't want to see, that I for sure don't want to see, I do not want to see. They already saved Springfield. I do not want to see The Simpsons save the world. Please don't make them save the world. That's just going to be too corny. It's going to be too cliche, too much of a trope. Keep The Simpsons in Springfield or Springfield adjacent. Don't make them save the world. Um, Lowell Lucas Jr. If Simpsons does end here, it'll be a triumph and would still cherish every moment it did. The impossible lasting longer than any American show outside of wrestling and soap operas. Yeah, I mean, hey, nothing historical. I'm just, nothing to take away from its historical aspect. I'm just saying, when do you think it should end? Like, would you like to see it end on a round number and a second movie, or would you want it to see, would you want it to? Does it matter to you, or do you just want as much Simpsons as we can get, and then we'll end it when it ends? Joey Baseball. The Simpsons IP will never die. It will be around forever like Mickey Mouse and Scooby-Doo, long after everyone involved dies, just like SpongeBob IP will be around when we're 90. Yeah, I just wonder how connected people are to the Simpsons cast, because I know it's been a big contention where, some people really have an attachment, they have a loyalty to these actors, and I have great respect for that, and I love that, and I agree. I totally agree that I want the original actors as long as possible. But when you're talking about Scooby-Doo and Mickey Mouse, look at Matthew Lillard took over for Casey Kasem, and people are fine with that. But are you going to be okay with somebody with a sound alike? I mean, look at what happened with Dr. Hibbert. Look at what happened with Carl. I know that was a different circumstance, but we're starting to get new actors. So are you okay with them continuing the series? I know a lot of the Simpsons actors aren't, which I get because that's your legacy. So are you going to be okay with new actors coming in and continuing the series? Or is that it? Or do you want it to end with the original cast? That's a pretty heavy question. I think you'll be vilified if you do. And if you don't, people will understand, but it'll be sad because I would love The Simpsons to go on for forever. And maybe they'll do like, I'm sure at some point they'll have silent little shorts or something, or maybe they'll reuse laughs, but it's kind of something we have to look at seriously. Not that any of us have a choice, but just about based on what we want. Um, Mirosh Piro, my friend, how are you doing all the way in Europe? Um, I think Italy, you said, if I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. What I like about the first Simpsons movie is the developing relationship between Homer and Bart. I think it's done quite warmly, and that Bart initially develops a kind of fatherly bond with Flanders. Yeah, that's one of the great subplots. I love the hot cocoa scene where he's like, I'll just leave some hot cocoa for you on the windowsill. And it's this amazing, beautiful, gorgeous cup. That's always really funny to me. And Bart grabs it. I love the ending too when when Bart's trying to refuse Homer on the motorcycle. He's like, no, you abandoned me too many times. I'm gonna stick it out with Flanders. And then Homer's like, I'll let you hold the bomb. And Bart gets excited. He knows me. He knows me too well. Um, Lowell Lucas Jr. I do wish the crew went with that Camp Krusty movie like they were planning a long ago, or imagine a longer Treehouse of Horror anthology movie. I do love. Oh, that'd be really cool. A longer Treehouse of Horror. That would be a really good one. A Camp Krusty movie. I know it was a decent episode, but I would like to see something like that on a smaller scale, but still in a movie. That'd be a great option. Joy Baseball, I think that they should make a cinematic, but also align with the show. Make it appear as if it could be an episode of the show. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind something a little smaller, but we're gonna see what that is. I can't wait to get details. I mean, just the fact we're getting the second Simpsons movie that was announced yesterday on a random Monday. I think that's pretty cool. So I'm excited. Piro, I think the sequel will be more about Marge and Lisa this time. Interesting. I didn't consider that. I never considered that. Um, it could be. I wouldn't mind it. I would like to see some, unless they handle it like they handled Lisa in the first movie, where I liked her character, but I hated her sub. I didn't hate, but I did not like her subplot about her and Colin. She just has a crush on a boy. That's kind of what you do when you don't know what to do with a character. Scooby Doo does that a lot with Velma. She'll just have a crush on a boy because they don't really have a subplot for her. Um, Lowell Lucas Jr. Oh, definitely, and then a round number. If they want to do more, just do more Simpsons specials on Disney Plus. Yeah, that's what I figured. That's what I figured. Joy Baseball. Even if the show ends, the IP will still be around in reboots and whatever. Like the original Scooby Doo was one show, but they made 20 other shows and they still make Mickey Mouse cartoons. Exactly. That was exactly like what I was saying. For me, the reason why I didn't like the first Rugrats movie was because it didn't feel like Rugrats. I also don't like that it was the babies lost in the forest and not based on imagination. Yeah, if we want to dovetail into Rugrats really quick, I I I understand. Like, I would have liked a little more imagination. Like, I thought it was really fun, the opening scene and the end scene where they're doing the Indiana Jones to get the monkey cookie jar. I really like that, and I didn't think about that. There really wasn't that much imagination throughout the movie. Um, but I was also okay with it because I did like that it was sort of scary for them. They were in the woods and there was this big wolf. I just remember that. That's pretty much the thing I remember. I like the Reptar car, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. There's so many options. I feel like everything is open in both a good way and sort of a scary way where I wonder which way they're gonna take it. I wonder what they're gonna do. But either way, I'm so excited for a Simpsons movie. So really quick, it is 7:29, so we have one more minute on the clock. I did have like a couple of things planned that aren't Simpsons related. I don't know if you guys want to keep talking Simpsons, or if you just want to see the end, or if you just want to go home. Either is fine with me, but I have a couple more slides of things if you folks want to see them. So I'm going to take a quick sip of water. Let me know if you guys want to hang out for, we can do another 15, 20 minutes if you folks are interested in sticking around. I am too. So I'm gonna have a quick sip of water. Let me know if you folks want to keep going, and if yeah, we'll do it. If not, then we'll call it a night. But I'm gonna have a quick sip here, really quick. All right. Well, I wait for you guys to give your opinions. Joey Baseball. They should record the lines for the third Simpsons movie now. That way, when they make the third movie in 2047, they will have the dialogue. I've thought about that. What if they just front load the entire, like, just in case anybody passes away, maybe they'll just record like 2 or 3 more seasons to get to season 45. Uh, it's possible. I mean, that'll have to be a big advancement, but I guarantee you, if there's a posthumous, Simpsons season, I definitely think people would watch that, and that'd get huge ratings. But hey, we'll see. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. Well, I'll give a couple minutes for you guys to decide if you want to keep going. I'll open up a document I have right here really quick that I had some extra stuff that wasn't Simpsons related. It'll kind of be a little bit channel related and a little bit of something new that's gonna be on the channel that you'll see going forward, which I'm really excited about. But here's what we'll do. Here's what we'll do in the meantime then. Lowell Lucas Jr. hang out, enjoy baseball, keep going. All right, if you folks want to keep going, let's go for another. We'll finish this up. We'll finish the slides I have up. We can keep talking Simpsons if you want. I'll throw out something else here really quick. If we like it, great. If not, we'll go back to Simpsons. Because this has been a really fun one. The hour flew by, which credit to you folks for sticking around and always giving good stuff to bounce off. It's always fun to hang out with you folks. So here's some other stuff. So there's going to be a new series on the channel coming out soon. It's going to be called, the working title right now is Sequel Versus, where it's going to be me and another creator, and it's going to be a competitive sequel writing show. So basically what we do is, and I put this because one of the people, basically what the idea is we take a movie, and we're going to just use The Lion King as an example. So we would take a movie, The Lion King, and we would either do a prequel, a rewrite, or a direct sequel to the movie. So we would do it. Let's just say we agree on a sequel. We do the sequel, and we would each write a sequel, and then we would do a 5-minute pitch to you folks. And it'd be a pre-recorded video, so it would basically be 5 minutes on the clock. You'd see a counter in the corner. I would have 5 minutes to pitch my movie any way I want it. So if I want to, if I want to use movie stills, if I want to use movie clips, if I just want to do puppets, something like that, I could do that. That's my 5 minutes up. Then the next person, the other content creator, gives their 5-minute pitch. They can do it faceless, they can do it their face on screen, and I really want to do it however they do their content. And we pitch the sequel, and you folks decide who's the winner. And the winner, if I win, I would give poll options, and I would let you folks choose the next movie. And if the winner wins, the other person wins, then they would give 2 options for everybody to vote in for the next poll, or they would just choose the movie. So one of the creators I'm talking to, I've never seen Aragon. They want to do a cartoon version, a rewrite of Aragon. So we're going to do a movie version of this. And I've heard this movie is like a legendary bomb. It's like not a good movie, but I can't wait to do it. So this is going to be one of the ones that we do. I've been in touch with a couple creators, and we're just kind of nailing down some details. I'm coming up with a mock video. I actually just have to audio record it. I'm going to do it tonight so I can put it together and send it out like a little, e-packet. But it is going to be so much fun. I am so excited to do this. Let me take a look at what you guys think so far. Hang on. Okay. Let's take a look. Joey Baseball, if you went through the trouble of making a PowerPoint, I want to see your hard work. Thank you. And, at least these PowerPoints are getting a little more, now they have music, now they have a background. So I'm trying to make them a little more bearable. So since you're not seeing me, you're at least seeing something engaging. And I hope the music was a nice touch. I hope it's not too loud. If it is, let me know for next time. Fix Dragon, please. Do you mean this one? Aragon? Lowell Lucas Jr.? Piro, great idea. Thank you. Yeah, this is going to be a super fun one. And Piro, I'm going to get to you also because I have some more stuff about you in the slides. Lowell Lucas Jr. Aragon. Yeah, is it that bad? I've definitely heard things about it, but I didn't know. So this might be the one that definitely needs a rewrite. Joey Baseball. When did you greenlight this new sequel show? When was the last time you said you had the entire 2025 schedule planned out? So, would you be upset if I didn't pick your sequel idea? Joy Baseball, I want you to pick the best idea. And I want to keep an actual record. So if I win 5 and lose 30, I want to actually have that on the screen. So no, I want you to pick the best idea. And I like being creative. I love doing the reviews. This will not take away from the reviews at all. Um, those are actually, I'm still, well, I'll get to that in a minute, but things are going well with the reviews. I'll give you an update on that in a second. Would When do you greenlight this new sequel show? So excuse me. So this was sort of a recent development. It's something I've been kicking around, but I hadn't really got the setup right. And now that I have, like I said, I'm going to be audio recording it maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, and getting ready to kind of build up this mock and send it out. So I'm really excited for it. Was this last year when you said you had the inside? No, so it wasn't last year. It was more recent, the last, man, maybe 5 months, 4 months. Um, some things did have to get changed around the schedule, like Sonic, which I'll give you folks an update on after this. But yeah, no, the entire 2025 was planned out. And 2026 is starting to get planned out as well, which I'm really happy about. This is going to be, I'm trying to go, I still want to do obscure stuff, but I want it to be a little more, maybe not as like, what the heck is this? I did the Siegfried and Roy one, which I loved. I thought that was a great show, a great movie. But people didn't really seem to get drawn to it. I know there's some stuff about the YouTube algorithm really not directing people to videos anymore, which is kind of a bad thing if you make YouTube videos. But at the same time, I want to do things that I like and that I enjoy, but I also want to do things that you folks enjoy. So that's why I asked in a poll earlier this year, which of the TV shows do you want to see a retrospective on? Which movie do you want to see a retrospective on? So that's why we're going to be doing at the end of the year Raggedy Ann and Andy, and then at the beginning of the year Bonkers. So I really want to do something for you folks. I want to do something for you folks, but also stuff that I like. So it's a really good happy medium. Um, Enjoy baseball. Would you be upset? Yep. Nope. Go ahead. Let's see. Loa Lucas Jr. Cartoon Aragon would be legit. I know. And I'll keep it a secret, but I really want to see if I can get an artist to kind of do some mock ups. Like, I want to make it really good. I really want to make it so you folks would want to see my sequel. Joy Baseball. When you watch these movies, you've never seen them before. Who do you watch them with? Or do you watch them solo? So I actually usually watch them alone. I've never actually watched a movie with somebody else because I like to stop and take notes. I don't really bounce these ideas off of anybody. So if I'm watching, let's just say, the Siegfried and Roy show, if I see something weird, I can't imagine a person watching them with me is going to want to sit there and not get through 5 minutes of the movie without being stopped 50 times. So I watch them alone, but who knows? Maybe someday I'll watch it with somebody. I really want to do a watch along sometime on the channel, or maybe if not on the channel, I don't know Twitch at all, but maybe we can do something on Twitch. I would really like to do something fun like that, like a live retrospective. We kind of do them here on live streams once in a while. Haven't done one in a while, but those are like me kind of, I guess it is a real live retrospective, but I would do a actual live retrospective would be really fun. Still trying to figure out how to do that though. Let's see here. Loa Lucas Jr., Aragon, Percy Jackson, that terrible Clash of Titans movie, Hellboy reboot, all need fixing. Yeah, I mean, hey, if we want to do cartoon versions of live action movies, that's fine with me. But yeah, cartoons too. That's why I asked about Ferngully. Ferngully was going to be the first one here. We'll see if we can do it. Joy Baseball, I can't even plan out the next week, and you can plan out an entire year. So, it's funny you say that because the movies change all the time. I'll let you know, for Halloween, I was going to actually do Tiny Toons Night Ghoulery, but things changed, and I can explain why later, but I'll let you guys in on what's going to be the Halloween, the October movie for this year. Let's take a look. Joey Baseball, working on Brother, watch Bonkers. I haven't watched that show in decades, and even in the 90s, Disney rarely played Bonkers. I'll let you know when I find it. I'll let you know. That's a problem for me in a couple months. Actually, probably sooner. It's 64 episodes. I gotta find out sooner. I'll find it though, and I'll let you know. I'll let you know when I do. Lowell Lucas Jr., if you ever take a request, I'm an artist. Just hit me up sometime. Maybe I could sketch up something. Maybe go for a Balto art style. Oh, that'd be cool. What do you think? Yeah, if you want to send me an email, Lowell Lucas Jr. at it's the goose at gmail.com, send some of your stuff over. I'm working on projects. I'm working on projects coming up that are going to be different for the channel. And also, well, I'm looking for a certain artist. I found this artist that I really wanted for a project. And they kind of do like a Splatoon style with skinny legs. And I'm just going to throw it out there in case anybody knows. But they do like kids, and there's this one picture of a girl. I want to say her name is Alyssa or something, or Amanda. Blonde girl, has a black hat, black suit jacket with a yellow Triforce pin and really skinny legs, like kind of high top skater shoes, and holding a skateboard. I lost I lost my device that had that saved on there. I cannot find this artist again. I don't think they were on Tumblr. I think they have their own website, and they're like a character designer artist. I've searched for months and I can't find this artist. So I'll probably post online to see if anybody knows who I'm talking about, but I really want them for this big project I got coming up for the channel and for bigger things. Um, Piero, I started the Bonkers series a while back and have seen about 30 episodes so far. I think it's a great show so far. Have you started it yet? No, I haven't started it yet. I'm actually trying to finish videos for this year. So, the next video coming out, I actually am finishing up the script this week, or well, I should finish it up honestly tonight or tomorrow. I just have to go over it with a fine-tooth comb. And yeah, so I'll be doing that. And then I'm almost done with Sonic. That one's going to be coming out in November. I have to just put the audio together. I have the script done. I have all the material together. So that one's going to be coming out in November for sure. Guaranteed. That's why I'm trying to get this whole next video finished so I can finish that one. Let's see. Lowell Lucas Jr. Joey, you can catch it on Disney Plus. They got that, but no Dave the Barbarian. That's another show I hear is amazing. Sure, give me some time and I'll send you some samples. Awesome. Thank you, Lowell. Joey Baseball. Bonkers was always a show that I saw on weird merchandise, but I rarely ever saw it on TV. I remember I rented a Bonkers VHS from Blockbuster. That's when I first saw it, never again. Yeah, Bonkers is one of those characters that doesn't really translate well into 3D, like for a toy. He's just weird looking. He's just an odd character, and his dimensions don't lend himself to that. Like stickers and books and stuff. I know he's got a couple joke books, but for some reason he just doesn't work so well in 3D. So yeah, that's sequel versus. So I'm super excited about that show. If you folks, and I mean this, if you folks have people who you think would be good for this, it's only a 5-minute pitch. Definitely let me know who they are, or go to their page, comment, tag them, because I really want to do this, and it's really fun for me. And I think it'd be fun for creators too. It doesn't have to be just people who do cartoons. Any kind of writers or React channels. I think it'd just be a good time. Okay, I can't remember what the next one is, but let's see. I'm sure I'll remember really fast. Okay, so I'm excited about this. You're probably wondering why I have the Lion King up here. So just in case there are people here, and you folks seem to be here still, I actually have the mock-up for what I would like to do for sequel versus. And I'm going to be obviously sending this little pitch to different creators, seeing if they're interested in doing the show, and this is going to be part of the video. I actually wrote the script for the pitch I'm going to do, and I wrote 2 different 5-minute Lion King sequels. So, if you folks want a special sneak preview since you're still here, if you would like, I could go ahead and kind of give you an idea. And these are just ideas I kind of came up really quick. I haven't gone over them super in depth in detail, but I think they're good enough for kind of the point I want to get across. So if you guys want, I can go ahead and read them, and maybe it'll give you a better idea of sort of what I'm going for with this sequel idea. So let me know if you guys want to do that right now. It'll just be quick, and we can kind of end on that, and I'll give you just a couple updates on the rest of the year for the channel, and we can end on that. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know, and I'll pull it up right now. And if we do it, great. If you guys don't feel like doing it, awesome, and we'll say it's a good stream anyway. Yeah, let me get it pulled up here really quick. Let's see what you folks have to say. Joey Baseball. I had a Bonkers lunchbox in first grade that I got from a yard sale, but I always thought Bonkers was a VHS only series because I never saw it on TV. Really? Interesting. Okay. Um, huh. I never really saw Bonkers merchandise. I would have loved a Bonkers lunchbox, so that would have been awesome. I'm assuming it was one of those kind of plastic ones, not one of the tin ones. I doubt there was tin Bonkers lunchboxes out there. Lowell Lucas Jr. My only problem with Bonkers was it didn't take advantage of the cartoony roster. They rarely had Disney characters like Darkwing Duck or Mad Hatter. The show didn't even have Mickey. Yeah, they didn't show Mickey in a kidnapped episode. Yep, I agree. I guarantee you they probably had something where they said, well, you can use the voice, but we don't want the likeness in this show. Which, yeah, that was a really funny workaround. It was so silly. Um, yeah, I remember seeing, and that was the part that frustrated me too, because you would see in the episode the Mad Hatter, and he would scream in the intro, and I'm like, oh man, it's gonna be awesome. He's gonna basically be, it's gonna sort of be like, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but he's just a cop and he gets to solve, like, how do you not do it where he's just solving crimes for other cartoon characters all the time? Or even if it's not, established ones, why not just do it in a way where he's doing it for original characters and sometimes famous characters. That was always weird. I'm sure it had to be something where they had a problem getting the characters, but I mean, still kind of a letdown, no matter how you twist it. Let me just have a quick sip, really quick. Thank you for your patience, folks. One more second. I'm just getting everything set up here so we can. All right. There we go. So, let's see what you folks say if you guys are interested. Let's see. Piero, I watched and Piero, I'm sorry, I know I'm probably messing up your name. I watched the show on Internet Archive. Great place to watch it. Lowell Lucas Jr. show. Sure, show you're awesome. Awesome. Okay, I like that. Do you use AI at all when writing or researching your videos? Joey Baseball. When I do use it sometimes, I don't really use it to research it because most of the research is wrong. Or you can type in something, you'll type in like, do you remember this episode of Bonkers where he met, Roger Rabbit? And it'll say, yes, it was the episode, Bonkers meets Roger, and it was about this, when it doesn't exist. So I would never do any serious research. If I do use it, it's mostly sort of as a notepad, where I'll say, okay, Bonkers, these episodes came out in 1995, and then this next batch of episodes was carried over. It's more like a notepad for me, so I don't really use it. Sometimes I'll see if it can link me to any interviews that I missed, but it's only as a last resort, and I really don't care to use it, just because of how inaccurate it is. And plus, I like doing all the work myself too. It's kind of fun to play investigator there. Lowell Lucas Jr., it'll be quick but awesome. I guess he types his own scripts, but who knows? Oh yeah, no, I type all my own scripts. Yeah. No, I don't have any help as far as AI like perfecting anything or giving me any information other than information that I already have at my disposal. Joe Baseball, it was a plastic lunchbox with Bonkers picture on it. It's not a fancy metal lunchbox that was embossed. Yeah, but hey, as long as it's got a cool picture on it. I remember I had one. I can't remember what was on it. I think it was a Sonic lunchbox. But all right, so we'll do this really quick. I'll go ahead and read the two stories I have, and if you guys want to do this as a practice, like, you guys will be the guinea pigs. See what I see what you like, see what you don't like. So I'm just going to kind of read the read the script of how the show's kind of going to go. I just want something kind of short, like that's going to stretch my creative muscles, interact with some new creators, bring some people on the channel, and just have something more constant, because I do 2 shorts a week, which is fun. I do the long form videos every 3 weeks, which I like, but I want to have something once every maybe 2 weeks. So you guys are getting something every week, and not in super short 10-second form. So here, I'm just gonna read it from the top how I have it. Like I said, it's a pilot basically, but here we go. Here's sequel verses. Um, I'm gonna read it like I'm actually, I'm not gonna read it with a full gusto, but I'm gonna read the script for how it's gonna be pitched so far. Hi everybody, and welcome to the internet's favorite and only competitive sequel writing series, Sequel Versus. The rules are simple. A special guest and I each write a sequel to an agreed upon, already existing animated movie. Our sequels can contain as much or as little from the previous film as we want, including characters, plots, locations, and anything else we think would make for a great next entry in the franchise. The only stipulation is that we have 5 minutes to pitch it to you, and the winner gets to choose the next movie to be featured in the series. I'm your host and full. And by the way, please leave comments during this pitch because hey, if there's something I'm missing or if there's something you don't understand or anything else, I would like to know so I don't pitch it to creators and forget something major or minor. I'm your host and full-time competitor. It's the Goose. It's the Goose, and our special guest today is it's the Goose. It's the Goose. I guess for the purpose of this pilot, from the YouTube channel, It's the Goose. It's the Goose. Channel that explores obscure videos and content and cartoons. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your favorite cartoon, and what charity you're playing for today. And then they would give their introduction. And for every video, I don't know if you guys know, I think I've mentioned it before, but every video that I have, people are generous enough to give their time. So I always make a donation to the charity of their choice. So I need to do a better job advertising their charity as well. Fantastic. And with that, the movie we will be writing a sequel for today is The Lion King. This 1994 Disney film follows lion cub Simba, exiled by his uncle Scar after being falsely blamed for the death of his father Mufasa. After years away, Simba returns to take his rightful place as king of the Pride Lands. Going first will be me. It's the Goose, it's the Goose. My 5-minute pitch for The Lion King starts now. And then so we'd have a 5-minute countdown in the corner of the screen. Really quick, I'll read you guys' chats right here just to see if I miss anything. Let's see here. Yep, we're the pigs. Give us the guinea. I like that. I like the premise. Looks like it'll be fun. Thank you. Joy Baseball, they're playing for charity. Yeah, so I make a donation to the charity all the time. So I'm gonna say, hey, let me know your channel, give us social media links. I'm gonna post the charity and I'm going to be doing I'm going to be posting the links to the charity as well and advertising it here. So yeah, they're not playing for charity. I make the donation anyway. If you guys want to donate too, that's even better. But yeah, every time I have had a guest on, I've made a donation to the charity of their choice. Not always in public, but I always do it. It's my way of saying thank you. I don't like to pay people for being on the channel necessarily because I just think it's sort of like, I don't know. I wouldn't ask for payment for being a guest on somebody else's channel. Maybe that's something if somebody wanted, I could discuss with them. But I feel more comfortable giving back to something they believe in or something that's close to them. So I do want to do something for them. But yeah. Oh, that's cool. A charity of their choice too. Awesome. Joy Baseball. So The Lion King is just the example because there's a sequel for The Lion King. Yes. So sometimes if we can include the sequel. We can do a sequel to a sequel. Usually people don't know that there's sequels to these main movies, or sometimes not everybody's seen it. So it's a little easier to go off of just the most known one. Or we can do a prequel to the movie, or like I said, a rewrite, which would all be fun. So we'll go ahead and get started. This is going to be the first one, so this would be my pitch. And like I said, these aren't the full things. These are just ideas that kind of came up in between, just kind of something quick to pitch that'll really get the idea across, but I still think they're pretty fun. So let me know what you guys think. Anyway, my sequel is called, countdown from 5 minutes begins now. My sequel is called The Lion King 2, The New Kingdom. Following the events of The Lion King, we open on the morning sunrise with a slightly older Simba running through the plains, singing about how it's a new day, both in and for the Pride Lands, being home to more animals than ever before. Halfway through the song, his teenage son Kofi sprouts from the bush and tackles him. After a long day of running around, they watch the sunset from the top of Pride Rock, where Simba and his dad used to sit. Kofi deals with the self-confidence of being a leader, seeing how Simba and Mufasa were great kings. Simba recounts to him how he wasn't ready to take over, and it took a long time, but he's happy with where he's at now, saying, "You're never ready and you just have to jump in, and Kofi will be ready for the moment when he least expects it." Nala comes up behind them, saying, "It's time," and Simba tells Kofi to go with the royal caretakers, who turn out to be Timon and Pumbaa, taking the young lion away. That night against the big rock, Rafiki, now much older, moves slowly, and Simba asks what he'll do without him or his father. Rafiki says the Serengeti is full of life of those who have passed, you just can't see them, and instructs him to look up at the night sky. "You cannot see your father, but you feel him, right?" Simba says yes, and Rafiki says it'll be the same for him. "You may not see me, but you'll always feel me," and hits him on the head with his staff from behind. Simba says ow, turns around and laughs, but when he looks for Rafiki, he's gone. The next day, Simba calls together a council of himself, Zazu, Nala, and an advisory council with 5 other animals, including an elephant named Tembo. Simba suggests since the kingdom is getting crowded, they begin moving the older animals to a new area of nearby land by way of a convoy. Tembo suggests they hire a crew of protectors since the animals are older and there are not enough predatory animals to keep them all safe on the trip. They reveal a leopard named Zosa with a jackal, African wild dog, honey badger, and caracal, who agree to protect the animals on their journey in exchange for food, water, and to stay at the new oasis. Simba refuses, but Tembo says Simba hasn't been there long enough to know what's good for the animals and calls an emergency vote, outvoting Simba, Nala, and Zazu. They embark the next day with Tembo leading a group of older animals, and Simba, still uncomfortable with these mercenaries, but needing to stay and watch over the Pride Lands, sends Timon and Pumbaa to follow the caravan. The animals make it to the new, lush oasis, but once there, the animal mercenaries attack and eat the elderly animals and some of the lions Simba sent for protection. Timon and Pumbaa overhear Tembo and Zosa reveal their plan that when the next group of animals arrive, they'll devour them as well, including Simba, who now won't have enough lions to fend them off. Simba and the next group make their way to the oasis, and when they arrive, it's eerily empty. The mercenaries ambush them, with the other animals trying to fight them off. Simba defeats Zosa and says for the rest to stand down. The other mercenaries respect his authority, but Zosa, who reiterates he has no allegiance, no loyalty, cheap shots Simba, knocking him unconscious to the edge of a cliff over a crocodile pit. Kofi distracts Zosa and asks for Tembo's help, who moves to the side, waiting to see who comes out on top. Kofi and Zosa both try to appeal to the mercenaries next, but Kofi wins them over with a powerful roar, proving that he is a leader to be respected, and the mercenaries battle with Zosa before Kofi knocks him into Tembo, and the two fall off the cliff into the crocodile pit. Tembo, hanging on by his trunk, calls for help, and Kofi and the mercenaries try to pull him up, but Zosa emerges from the crocodile pit, calling Tembo his pack leader and to join him, clawing into his hide and dragging the two into the crocodile pit together. Kofi and Simba reunite, and during a new day, they walk under the rock overlooking the new kingdom. Simba says it'll be too difficult to watch over both, and Kofi should watch over this one in order to get the hang of it before he takes over as king someday. It's a musical, so it'll have songs, the same cast, and I think it'd be a fun new plot that doesn't rehash the previous ones, but is a natural evolution of where it would lead. I'm not a fan of legacy sequels so much where the main character is a huge loser or burnt out after showing so much potential in the original films, so this would still show him being a good leader, but facing new challenges in his life. Alright, that's my 5-minute pitch, and now, next we would go to It's the Goose for a Lion King sequel. So, let's take a look what you folks think. Loa Lucas Jr., I would like to see a sequel series to Timon and Pumbaa, call it Ed's Revenge. I like that, that's funny. Definitely dark, but intriguing. Adds to the struggles of animals outside the Pride Lands. Joy Baseball, are you going to have animatics for the presentation? Yes, so it's going to be up to the content creator. So, like I said, one content creator might be a React channel, so they will do face videos where maybe they're explaining it. They'll cut to either video clips or they'll cut to, just reaction themselves or stills like this. It really depends on whatever they're more comfortable with. For me, I'll probably use a combination of video clips since it's going to be a pre-recorded video, some stills. Depending on if I can get good artists, maybe I can do some new ones. So that'd be pretty cool. I would really like that. It'd be a good way to showcase artists as well. Let's take a look. Loa Lucas Jr. I think it depends if he gets the right artists on board. Exactly. So we'll see. And then I'll just go ahead and do this last one. This, excuse me, the second pitch. So this would be like the other person. I'd go ahead and introduce them. 5 minutes on the pitch starts now. So my pitch for The Lion King 2 would be titled The Lion King 2 Circle of Life. The movie will be less conflict-oriented and more of a personal journey for Simba for choosing which of his next of kin will rule after his reign. The movie would start with Simba's 3 young adult lions playing, named Zalani, Malika, and Sahar, and Simba watching them from afar, discussing with Rafiki which of them should rule when he's no longer king. Simba spends time with each of his children individually, beginning with Zalani, who is an expert hunter, but doesn't think much past that. Simba likes that he can provide, but can he make decisions for the whole pride? He next spends time with Malika, who is idealistic and empathetic, with the ability to bring people together. A great communicator and likable personality, Simba worries that she might not be able to produce results when the Pride Lands need her most. Lastly, Sahar, who Simba admires for his intelligence, always thinking ahead and of the bigger picture, but lacks the confidence to share his ideas with everyone. That night, as he's sitting out on Pride Rock, thinking everything over, he's ambushed by a group of jackals who knock him unconscious. Simba is kidnapped, taken to a wasteland where there's little to eat or drink, and kept at bay by a group of jackals. He tries to bargain with them, but they say that they're not supposed to let him go. The kids travel through the land, each using their attributes to solve their problems, and arguing, not about which of them should rule, but personally dealing with their own weaknesses and the other's strengths, believing that everyone else is more worthy than them. They make new animal friends along the way, similar to Timon and Pumbaa in the first movie, and get better at working together to get through each section of the Serengeti. They finally make it to the land where Simba is being held and see him guarded by jackals. They take them down on their own, but as they're about to rescue Simba, the jackal's true leader comes out. A lion bigger than even Simba, Scar's daughter, Shona. She explains her story about how she was neglected by Scar, focused on taking the crown, and that he never acknowledged her, and she left the kingdom completely unnoticed. As a young lioness, she traveled across the land and had to fight for everything herself, which allowed her to grow bigger and stronger. Simba tries to reason with her, telling her how Scar died and taking the crown won't give him back or won't fix anything or change anything. But to everyone's surprise, she actually denounces her father and vows to kill Simba and his kin and let the Pride Lands go to waste, destroying not only Scar's legacy, but Simba's as well. She begins to attack, hurting the lions, but while they start out trying to defeat her individually, they work together using everything they learned along the journey, with Sahar coming up with a plan to defeat her, Zalani taking the lead on the physical attack, and when Shona's knocked off the cliff where she hangs off the edge, just like Mufasa did with Scar, Simba puts his claws onto her paws and says he won't let Scar hurt his family again, when Shona says mockingly, "It's the circle of life." Before he claws her to let her fall, Malika tells her dad to stop and runs over, and that Shona isn't Scar. And when Simba looks back at Shona, he sees his father hanging off the cliff as Malika tells him to save her. He struggles to pull up the bigger Shona, but the rest of the kids help and save Shona from falling to the jackals. Shona, confused, asks why they saved her, and Malika says that she can destroy Scar's legacy by ruining the Pride Lands, and we cut to a time later, when we get to a similar shot as the original Lion King standing on Pride Rock. Simba stands towards the middle front of Pride Rock, and as we zoom in, we see his 3 now adult children walk past him, taking a spot at the front. And as they stand, Simba turns around and asks, "Aren't you going to join them, Your Highness?" And Shona walks out nervously, joining Simba's kids, as the 4 of them rule over the kingdom. And that's 5 minutes. So, 2 great stories. Which do you like better? It's the Goose's story, The Lion King 2, The New Kingdom, or It's the Goose's story, The Lion King 2, Circle of Life. Comment with who you think won, and we'll announce the winner in 1 week. Do you know a creator who you'd like to see compete in a sequel versus? Tag them below and we'll try to get them on the show. Don't forget to follow It's the Goose on YouTube, visit their charity, and add on social media, and we'll see you in the sequel. All right, so that's basically it. That's the whole show. It shouldn't take any more than maybe 10 to 15 minutes for the whole thing, and you get those maybe once every couple weeks or whenever, whenever I can get creators on. So I'm trying to message a lot so I can kind of have a backlog. Like during the holiday season would be nice when I take that little YouTube break to work on more stuff. So what do you guys think of the idea for the show in general? Is there something I'm missing? Maybe it's not communicated very, very well, or I'd like to, if there's any feedback you folks have. But I'll go ahead and read right now. Lowell Lucas Jr. Let's see here. Sorry, Joey Baseball. I like the second Goose's idea better. I gotta say, I like the second Goose's idea too. The first Goose is pretty good. It's basically It's the Goose versus It's the Goose. Like you take the name apart. Lowell Lucas Jr. Definitely another great pitch. This one's more internal with family versus the outsider's pitch. Wish there was a way to combine the two. Imagine if Scar's daughter was the leader of the mercenaries. I like that, but the only thing is it made me think of it just kind of be like the first Lion King. And this, I mean, they both are, with Scar as the leader of, or Shona as the leader of the Jackals. But I just thought of, sometimes if I don't have somebody to do a sequel versus with, I would just write a sequel, anyway, and it'd be fun to just post it. But I think I'd rather do sequel versus. Complete animation. I like the second one more, but both didn't really resonate with me. Maybe a proper animatic would change my mind. Totally understand. And like I said, these are just kind of quick ideas I mocked up, mostly to just pitch. The content of the story or the content of the pitch isn't really what I was after. I think it was fun to write anyway. But yeah, I just wanted to mostly get an idea out there. So you guys kind of had an idea. But yeah, the animatics will definitely be important, and I'm excited to see what different content creators come up with. I'm sure it'll be some pretty creative stuff. Let's see. Joey Baseball. I feel like there's too much detail. Less is more. Interesting. Yeah, and that's going to be one of the things. It's going to be all about the pitch. So, somebody might go into more of the psychological part of a cartoon, or somebody might, it's 5 minutes, which it seems like a lot of time, but at the same time, it's not, because you kind of want to get in, like, the competitive part is, what do you include in the pitch? Do you include these things where it's more personal? Do you include just more like an action scene you talk about? Do you include it's going to be directed by this person? It's going to be in this style. It's going to be like, for Aragon. Oh, it's going to be in a 1970s style of, animated movie. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. So it's going to be all in the art of the pitch, which I'm really excited about. Lowell Lucas Jr., my vote for number one, just for a different change in pace. But I think your ideas moving forward for the channel are great. Keep it up. Thank you. If you guys have any more comments on it, definitely let me know, because I'm going to try and record this by the end of the week, and send it out to more people. So yeah, again, if you folks have people who you think would enjoy or want to be a part of this, let me know, because I have a lot of stuff that I want to get on there. And thank you for listening, you folks. I know it's a unproven concept, but I think it could be really fun. Just something different to add to the channel. So we'll go ahead and just kind of... Oh, I wanted to mention two last things really quick. And I guess it's a tie, because I think one of you voted for number one and one of you voted for number two. So we're going to be having a live video retrospective coming up in the next, before October's over. It's going to be on How to Train Your Dragon. And that's going to be from our good friend, Mirosh Piro, all the way from, I believe it was Italy. So if you want to make a request for a live video retrospective, it's $30, and I'll do a video retrospective of a movie of your choice. So yeah, and just give me like a month or two to watch it, just so I can get something mocked together. I want to do a good job for you folks. So if that's something that interests you, definitely go ahead and let me know. You can send a super chat or get in contact with me, and we can figure something out. But I'm excited. I've never seen any of the How to Train Your Dragon movies, and with the newest one coming out, it only feels appropriate to to finally get around to watching this one. I don't watch many 3D movies. I hear great things about it, so Yeah, and you can always send me a list of ones that you think I should watch. If you want to send, like I said, a super chat with it, we can go ahead and narrow down which one would be best. But I can't wait to watch this one. It's going to be really fun. So if you have opinions on How to Train Your Dragon, definitely be ready for that one. And the last part is the newest movie, retrospective, coming out soon. So Sunday, November 12th, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, is going to be Felix the Cat, the movie, which has been a really big request. I'm really excited. I've wanted to do this one for a long time. Um, yeah, I used to watch this on rental as a kid a lot, and I finally got around to watching it again. And I know the consensus is this movie is terrible, this movie's horrible. Um, I don't agree, and I'm not just saying that because I think pretty much every movie I do on my channel I like in some capacity. There is a lot that I do see people why they don't like it, but I think it's very surface level. Um, I do think it is surface level in some regards because there's a lot of stuff in there that I think really is good. Um, that I think really is unique. There's some really beautiful art in there which I didn't expect. I won't reveal something I found out, but you know when Disney movies there's always something kind of filthy in them? There's something inappropriate in this movie that I found. I don't know if it's been mentioned before, but it really made me laugh a lot. So yeah, I'm probably gonna just do some more editing of the script tonight, maybe record tomorrow, just because my voice is almost gonna be shot tonight, and I want to give good quality audio. And yeah, so expect that November 12th. Did I say I meant sorry, October 12th. It's supposed to be October 12th. October 12th meant that. And then October 12th, and then yeah, October 12th, right? Yeah, October, I think it's October 12th. And then November, I don't have the exact date on me, but I think it's November 2nd. It's going to be Sonic the Hedgehog. Finally. I have everything done. I just have to clip the audio together. So you're finally going to get Sonic. And then December's going to be Raggedy Ann and Andy. January's going to be Bonkers. We have a lot of good stuff coming up that I'm so excited for. So get ready for that. And I'm just going to read the last of these chats, and then we'll call it a night. We went, man, almost 2 hours. I love hanging out with you folks. It's really fun. Let's take a look. Complete animation. Disney's best 3D movie has to be The Last Wish. I have never even heard of that. I don't watch that many 3D animated movies, but maybe we can do a video retrospective on it sometime. Movie of my choice, Lowell Lucas Jr. Rankin Bass, The Hobbit is starting to look good. Yeah, that could be one we do. I think I was The Last Unicorn. I'm a little wary to do any Rankin Bass after The Last Unicorn debacle. I feel like I could have still salvaged it with a full motion video, but little wary to do that. I got to figure out a way to get that so it doesn't get copyright stricken or content ID claimed. That one's a tough one. Mirosh Piro, thank you for doing the live video retrospective, Goose. Piro, my pleasure. Thank you for supporting the channel, and so we can do that. I can't wait to do it. I think that one I might watch with somebody because somebody was like, "Oh my gosh, you're gonna watch it!" Like, so we'll see. We'll see though. Complete animation. Felix the Cat over Fritz the Cat. Ooh, I don't know. I do love me some Fritz the Cat. I even love 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat, but I love Felix too. Joy Baseball, you're doing a video retrospective on a Sunday afternoon as opposed to evening time. Yeah, I think I usually release the video retrospectives on Sunday at noon, usually when there's no problems with content ID claim, or unless I'm late with something. But yeah, they always come out on Sundays at noon every 3 weeks, or as close as possible. Lowell Lucas Jr. Love the Felix movie. It's odd yet interesting. I watched it on Disney Channel quite a bit. Yeah, I always watched it on VHS. I didn't know they played it on Disney Channel, but I got some stuff to say about it. Complete animation. Examples of something kind of filthy in Disney movies. Yeah, as Lowell Lucas Jr. says, the adult painting in The Rescuers. They have, you can see up Jessica Rabbit's skirt when she falls in one scene in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. The infamous cover of The Little Mermaid. I want to say it's the VHS tape. They draw it to look a certain way. Yeah, there's a whole lot of them. There's a whole lot. I'm surprised you haven't heard of them. Definitely check them out. Lowell Lucas Jr., take care, Goose. Wish you the best. Lowell Lucas Jr., thank you so much. And everybody who joined me tonight. And I hope you had a good time talking Simpsons. I would love to do more of these. Something that we can just kind of talk about in general. I'm glad Simpsons, kind of got us back to doing a live stream. Thank you so much to everybody for listening to the sequel versus idea. I'm hoping that it comes out as good as I have it envisioned in my mind. So thank you folks for being the guinea pigs. Felix is coming out in a couple weeks, so get ready for that. And then we have Sonic in November and Raggedy Ann to end the year. We got a lot. Joy Baseball. Oh, I was thinking Felix was a live retrospective. I got confused. Your live ones are usually in the evening. Yeah, sorry. This is a normal retrospective. Next live video retrospective is going to be How to Train Your Dragon. And then after that is going to be Spirit Stallion of Cimarron or something. However that movie is. Future idea, Cartoon Dragons. That'd be a good one. I would like that. Because sometimes I haven't done them as much lately, but I usually would do, here's my favorite cartoon dragons, here's my favorite cartoon fairies. Maybe we can do something like that, a topic. But yeah, you folks always can suggest things, and hopefully we can get around to doing them all. But we're gonna go ahead and call it a night. That was awesome. I had a really good time. Almost 2 hours. 2 hours, and I didn't stop talking for 1 second. But I can't thank you folks enough for coming and hanging out. And yeah, we got a lot of fun stuff. We got a big project in the works coming up next year. So hopefully I can find that artist. But I hope you folks have an amazing night, an amazing weekend. I'll see you folks in the new shorts, and I'll see you for the new Felix retrospective. I'm excited to see what you folks think of it. Have a great night, everybody. And I will see you